This is version 2 of a video that I released early this morning. I've had time to contemplate what I said, and although the essence of what I said doesn't need changing, I think I can clarify it a little bit better for you as you listen. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the depression at night or in the early hours of the morning or when we first wake. Through that period, we become depressed. Now, I used to suffer this terribly at one time, and it can lead to serious thoughts of suicide. What is the point of being here? Because in the dark hours, we see no point. There are no distractions. And this can be very dangerous. Dangerous because we are experiencing the dark period of our soul where it knows if itself within us that the world does not give us verbally. It does not follow a script that we write for it, and no matter how hard we try or how hard we work for things, the cruelty is that this world can come and somebody can take it off you. What you feel is yours, what you feel is your inheritance or your right. I've worked my life for this, and now it's been taken. That can be a child, a relationship, a possession, a job even. It has multiple different causes, but the same effect. This feeling of being abandoned, of there is no point, and to excuse the expression, it's just the same shit, but a different day. Now, it would be great just to say abracadabra, everything will be fine. As I speak, I manifest. But for many of us, that would be sounding nothing but flippant. What do you know? And I agree that in its context as it was presented then. But there is a point that we reach where we can either totally give in or we can stand and say, this is it. I've gone as far as I can. I need to change the way I think. I need to change things, and things won't change unless we physically change them. They do not volunteer. An abuser will not volunteer to stop their abuse. The debt that we have will not volunteer to disappear because we are making a new start. The arrears in the rent or the violence against yourself, they don't stop voluntarily. Very rarely do we have somebody who will have a change of heart when there is no need to, when they feel that they're in control. This is important. They will not change unless something very, very unusual happens to them. Some might undergo a religious conversion, and that is no guarantee that things will change, they'll get better. They may make an apology and say they will try harder, but these are just temporary lulls. They're meant to try to shift the emphasis onto you, for you to help them. But they are the abuser. And if you're taking some sort of substance, and that is your answer to the cure, it helps you feel better, but it does not stop the reason why. In fact, it adds another reason, because then it becomes an addiction, and everything can seem quite hopeless. And if you're at a younger age, you can often think that we are abandoned even more. And who can we tell? Who can we trust? So how does this fit in with manifestation? Am I going to give you some witchy spell that you can say, abracadabra, everything is all right now, and it is. As I speak, I manifest, but I've spoken to you before, or to anybody silly enough to watch my videos, about understanding that unless we have a genuine desire, a need, not a want, okay, that somehow just saying the words ad glib is the expression I'm thinking of, and things disappear. But we've woken up in the morning, coming back to the start, or we're in bed at night and our thoughts are constantly looping. Where is the abracadabra then? Now, one of the greatest rushes that you can have is an adrenaline rush. I know that when a lot of people take those stuff, that gives them a rush, an adrenaline rush. It creates a substance in them that changes, and suddenly everything internally has a new handle. But once those chemicals have dissolved and disappeared, and you have politely removed them from your body, you're left with the same person, with a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole. Religion, the I'm a born again Christian, or you turn to some other form of religion, Muslim, Jewish, Mormon, Jehovah's Witness. You can go on and on, because the choice today is, it's as good as any supermarket can offer. I'm talking about yourself, sitting down with yourself, and only you know you. You know that you promised yourself many times a change. I will change, I will do it. But the effort that we put in for that change, it's biologically lost. Our body, like a hunger or a thirst, leads us to just only crave. We are caught by the addiction, and the addiction has hold of us, and we cannot see a magic spell. I was saying abracadabra is going to cure that addiction. And for me at this moment in time to say, yes it will, would be so irresponsible, it would be criminal. But it is so difficult to realise that once we are caught in a rut, it's our thinking skills, our commitment to the addiction is as a hold, and a very serious hold on us. But until we realise that the answer comes from within, the most powerful word I know is no. And I also know that when I say it to people, it creates such anger, such a case of, who are you to tell me? And when we try to do it to ourselves, we think, it's not worth it. The pain I'm going through now, the want for the answer, whatever it is, sex, money, drugs, peace, to be free, the feeling of freedom, to be out this job. So why am I saying, as I speak, I manifest? But as I was explaining, all those thoughts are how you speak. You're manifesting your own addiction, because once the cravings start, you tell them, that's okay, I've got you, I'm feeling it, I need. There are many people who are caught up in all sorts of things because they cannot afford the fix, is the word I'm looking for. And to manifest the energy not to partake requires a lot of effort, but it also requires what we call the detox. Now, most people watching me won't be looking for a lecture on drug abuse or any abuse. You're looking for, how do I create that money? I can't wait to spend it. Look, I want this house. I want this Jag or Mercedes or Maserati. I want the high life. I want the good life. Just the opposite end of the scale. And if you've already got these things, you can be looking back and say, I don't care. I've got them. They're mine. I don't have to manifest. Understanding yourself, why you are an addict, why you are unhappy, why you are seeking more, why something is driving you internally. And that same internal drive will drive you, whether it's drugs, prosperity, health, sex. It's driving you, that internal want. So, where does magic come in? Well, first of all, I read tarot. I mentioned this before. And I would imagine that if you know a tarot reader, somebody who's reputable, in fact, to be honest with you, if it's your first time ever, I would try to be very careful. So many people claim to read tarot. I was out today, I was just talking to somebody, and they told me that they read tarot. I asked him how many decks. Well, I've got 2 decks. I read tarot. So I said, I've just got the one. That's all you need. And probably for them it is. But understanding the card, the meaning behind the card, the connection, because we need to connect. This is the important part of manifestation. We need to connect in such a way as that desire to know more about witchcraft, about tarot, about the dark arts, about manifestation, all start with a want. I want more drugs. I want to be more spiritual. I want to be richer. I want to know the future. I want to be able to manipulate the future. Now here we're getting close to manifestation. I've said before, I read tarot, and if somebody is trying to manifest or wants to manifest something, the best way for me to help is to do a tarot reading. And a particular card or cards should point the direction into the reading. And so I have something that I can think about. Now the difference here is yin and yang. They're both connected, but the difference is one is an addiction, is that your body is going to react, and your mindset and your whole system of providing the answer to the addiction kicks in. Working more hours, if you've got a well-paid job, could possibly bring quite to an average man a sense of wealth. That's a good wage, yeah? Just think of what you can do with all that money. But money doesn't seem to work like that for some people. The more they have, the more they want. The less they have, the more careful they are with it. Different attitudes, but we're talking the attitude now in here, where we can manifest a change, where we can say to ourselves, well, what is the point of feeling down? I can't do anything to change my situation. Whoopee, great, I'm penniless, I'm broke, I could be thrown out any time from my accommodation. That's masochism. I don't want none of that in our studio. Understanding that by manifesting the thoughts behind the lack, to build up a rapport with the universe. And I've said this, and I will say it one last time, and then I'm going to end this quick video. There's no need to feel sick, ill, want to commit suicide, that life can't go on, there's nothing worth living for. You are manifesting your own death by suicide. What I'm saying simply is to start to think, well, what if? What can I do, universe? Come on, universe. You've got more wealth. You've created a universe. You put me, you, on this planet called Earth. It's got lots of things that will keep us warm or make us cold, that we can drink, eat, clothe ourselves with, build homes. All that's provided by the planet that the universe has put us on and into. We didn't manifest it, but the universe has got an abundance. In fact, the word infinity comes to mind often, and it's the only word I can think of to explain that. So me and you not having the lifestyle of the billionaire, the universe has not chosen at this point to release those funds into our pockets, into our bank accounts, into our life. So what is the universe planning for us? If it's not to live a life of leisure, where everything we want we can purchase, even your wife, your husband, the house you live in, all have a price for those that have an abundance of wealth. Quietly, after this video ends, is sit down and connect to yourself. Be honest what your want is, and realise it is that, it's just a want. Then look at what you need. And start to ask the universe, where are you in all this? How can I change? And you don't need a massive altar like I have and all the things. Those are just a hobby that over the years, some will call it an addiction, collecting, but I make them, a lot of the masks and not the paintings at the moment. I bought them because I quite liked them. But lots of things I make and put together. But it starts by deciding I am creative. I can do that. And then you actually start to invest into, I have to buy the clay to make the masks. I have to buy the paint. I have to invest what little I have into creating those masks. And I'm sure at some stage, when my little bungalow turns up, which I'm hoping will be very quietly on its way now, I can set up my altar and I can start to look to sell instead of keep buying. That I am manifesting as I speak because I believe it's possible. I'm never going to put man on the moon by my resources because it's not in me. It's already been done. And as a child, when I watched the first men walk on the moon, it was fascinating in '69. But all those years on, it's lost that fascination. Manifesting for yourself requires your own interpretation of what it is you want, not somebody else's idea, your own inner wants, and going for it. I'll leave you on that. Bye now.